Hello, it's Diane with Diane's Blue Hearts and Butterflies.com, and this is a slimline card that I came up with for the um, my March 2023 in-person class. And I got the idea for this fun fold sliding insert card. I don't know what else to call it, from Kelly Atchison. I think she's in Michigan, and she did one that was for Christmas, and I think it had a Santa or something. But I liked the idea, and so I wanted to create a card using the new or the Easter Bunny bundle that is in the January to April 2023 mini catalog. The host for March really loved this stamp set. I didn't have anything like it, so I went ahead and got this one. I felt that it could be versatile in using it for other cards as well. It does have a lot of Easter type themes, but there is just the carrots and the grass and this pretty floral. You could turn that into kind of maybe even a headdress. I've seen some like that, or have it going around the neck or something, and do that for other cards. There's a bird and a butterfly. And this one says, enjoy all the little moments and you're a friend like no other. Those are, and it's a new day. Those are some that could be used for other things. I know that the punch is on back order right now, but the only thing that the punch does punch out, even though you do save 10% and by buying both together, this one is not available. But the stamp set, the only one that it cuts out is this butterfly. It punches out is this butterfly. Butterfly. Good night, bunny. And so this card that I'm doing today, I'm having to cut out this bunny anyway. So just because you can't get the bundle doesn't mean that you can't go ahead and get the stamp set before the end of April so that it could be in your stash. I don't remember when this punch was coming back in, but you could keep a watch on it. I also, in my first card that I had done, I stamped the Happy Easter and then I just fussy cut it out. But I was looking through some of my dies and I found this Give It a Whirl has these clouds in it. And so another card I did, I stamped the High from the stamp set on there. And then I also noticed that I could take, let me get these, I could take the two of these clouds and I could do the Happy Easter and put that on there. So I was going to show that too. And then I used on this card, because I didn't have a lot of this paper, Designer Series paper, is a specialty paper. It's the Rain or Shine 12 by 12, and it's a specialty DSP because one side of it has like this raised embossed image on it. This one, it's the clouds. This one, it's some of these raindrops are embossed, and it looks like some of the black areas. This one, some of the raindrops are embossed, so they're kind of shiny. This one, it's the umbrella. The umbrella's on here. It's raised. This one's another where the shiny is the rain, and then this side it's some of the umbrellas on the one side. The one side does have the embossed images, but the back side is a lot more of the images that you could use in the backgrounds for other cards, and it was just really pretty. So I did get these for my class to put this one on. Unfortunately, there's only two of this page, so I had to get quite a few packages for my class. But when I was cutting out the paper for the cards, I wanted to get kind of this area right in here. And so I got as many as I could that way, but there were a few of my cards that I did end up needing to piece some from the top and some from the bottom together. And then where that came together, I noticed the Playful Piggy dies has this little grass in it. There may be some other die sets that have that. And I just created this grass line to kind of cover that up. The Playful Piggies dies are still on the clearance rack right now. This is March the 18th, 2023. And these went with the Birthday Pigs stamp set. And the Playful Piggy dies are there. And they cut out some of the stamps, but they also cut out a wagon, some flowers and leaves, a bow, a little pennant. There's also a little bird and some little birthday confetti. And then there's a, looks like a bandana and some other things. So it's just a really cute set, especially with if you get the stamps to go with it. And then the Give It a Whirl, there was a stamp set that would go with it. I didn't get the stamp set because I felt that I could use this with so many other stamp set that I have. In fact, one that I use it with is the farm animals, where I did the farm animals in the different windows. So that one is cool. Another one that I used, I have a 1-inch circle punch. You could do it with a die if you don't have that circle punch in order to create the little finger hold. So let's get started with what you need. And you can always check out my blog at dianesblueheartsandbutterflies.com because I put the dimensions on there. And then also the everything that you will need to do the project. So on this is an old olive cardstock piece, and it's 8 inches by 8 3/4 inches. This makes a slimline type card, which means you have to use a longer envelope. Then the Designer Series paper that I used is 3.5 inches by 8.5 inches. The basic white cardstock for the sliding insert is 3.5 by 8.5 as well. I have a little, this is the kind of mechanism piece that helps it to slide. I forgot to show that. So this card is made so that when you pull out the insert, that one of the images on the front of the card goes over and moves over while you pull this out and you see your little image and sentiment on the inside. So this piece that is that mechanism is 3/4 inch, and I started with 3 inches, but then I ended up cutting it down to about 2.5, maybe 2 3/4, just because I wanted it where I wanted it to be on the card. It's about a 3 or 4 inch piece of ribbon. This is some ribbon that I have that's an old retired one, but I was using it up. And then, like I said, I cut out some of those clouds, and then I stamped a Happy Easter on a couple of them, and then I did the high on one, so that I could choose which one I wanted. And then there's a scrap piece of cardstock, just a kind of a scrap piece, and that's so that you can stamp the two bunnies on this piece. Let me set this kind of aside for the second. I wanted to talk about when you're coloring the bunnies, you can use the blends markers, which gives a allows you to blend the colors together. You can use the Stampin' Write markers, but the alcohol blends markers really give kind of a smooth look to the image. I also, on one of these, used the watercolor pencils. So this one, for this card, I did use the watercolor pencils. But you can see those lines, even no matter how much you try to color and not have lines showing, it just happens when you're using colored pencils. So the blender pens that Stampin' Up! Sells, this actually helps to blend those lines and allows you to kind of it's not really watercolor because you're not applying water to it, but it allows you to kind of run those colors and smooth them out so that they don't look so prominent. I can't think of what it's called. The lines that are created, and it just kind of runs everything, blends them together. I guess that's why they call them blender pens. And so these I would encourage you to keep in your tools, to use these whenever you want to blend something together. And it really just gives it it takes away those lines. You can kind of see the difference, I hope. This one has a lot of the lines, and then this one's more blended together. And then you just you can do that again. And then to clean the blender pen, you just wipe it off and it'll go clear. You can also use blender pens with the inks if you don't want to use water. For like a watercolor type image, you can use blender pens, and you take a block and you get some ink on it, and then you just use your blender pen to actually do the coloring on whatever you're wanting to do. So it's a great tool to have and keep in your tool bag so that you could create the looks that you want on your cards. And so I'm just trying to finish blending that together, taking those lines out. Try to create a little bit of a darkness back behind where the leg is kind of in shadow. All right, so that's what I did. I did also use some white. There is a white watercolor pencil, and it keeps it looking white where you want it. You can also use that for other techniques. The white watercolor pencil helps in that. So that is kind of the lesson on the coloring. The blender pens, you can color with those. Another product that I did forget to mention that I did use in this is the brushed brass butterflies. Don't try to say it too fast. And so there's that. So let's go through. You'll need to score the cardstock first. So this one, you score it in portrait. So you want the 8-inch side up at the top. Do that. And this is the Stampin' Trimmer. I really love using this. So this one would be the 8-inch side. And so with that at the top, you want to score it at 3 3/4. Make sure that you're using the light colored blade. There's a dark one, which is for cutting, and then there's the lighter blade, which is scoring. So you line this side up at 3 3/4, and you score that, and then you move it over to 7 1/2. Okay, hold on, getting it lined up. All right. And then you don't want to go too far or don't put that away too far, but I do want to go ahead and score or fold a little bit on my score lines. Just want to keep your outer line kind of there. And then the 1/2-inch one, you'll burnish that. So the way that I did my card is I adhered the Designer Series paper onto this section that is right above the 1/2-inch piece. Oh, and I forgot to grab because in order to close this up, you will need tear and tape. And just got to find the end of it here. There it is. That piece is going to go on this 1/2 inch piece, and it's going to go on so that it's on the same side as the designer series paper facing out. So that goes there. And so this I did, and then if it's directional, which this one is, you want the bottom of that directional to be closest to the 1/2 inch piece. So let me add some adhesive. Now you're going to want not just around the edges, but you're going to want to put some about somewhere in here, the 1.5 inches. I think that's what it is. Yeah, 1.5 inches area, kind of above and below, because you want to have the paper stick where we're going to be cutting it. Let me just add adhesive around the edges first. And then this is the bottom. So I kind of line it up against my grid paper here and see where that 1.5 inch mark is. And I'm going to want some glue below and above that 1.5 inches, maybe even right on. Just put some there. And then you bring this piece back over, and there's going to be a border around it. So just kind of hold it and line it up. And glue that on. Then, before you are going to do anything else, you'll need to bring your trimmer back in. And I'm going to want to use, or to line this side where the 1/2 inch piece is up at 2 inches. So you'll line that up on that side there. Now, the trimmer has a ruler along this guide here, and you're going to want to start with your blade at the 1 inch mark, which is over here. There's a line on this piece for the cutting blade, and you'll line that up at the 1 inch, and then make sure this is at the 2. And then you're going to want to cut from 1 inch down to 6 1/4. So you cut all the way through the designer series paper and the cardstock down to 6 1/4, right in there. And that's just so that when it's opened, that the bunny doesn't go all the way over. It gives it a stopping point so that it doesn't come over. My first one, I cut it too far, and the bunnies were overlapping, so I remeasured, and that's what I came up with. So the other thing that you're going to want to do is take your 1 inch circle punch. I just have a hard time with my hands sometimes being strong enough. So then you're going to take this, and I just kind of measured about halfway point between the two edges of where the score line is and on both sides. And then I went in about halfway on this, and then I punched through both of those. Now I'm telling you this because it's a little bit too hard to get it to go through both sides at one time. So I went through the front part, and then I'm going to come back and I'll line this up where the punch was prior. Kind of need to turn it to myself a little bit. And then you're going to punch through the back part. And that gives you your little finger hold to have that go there. So those can go into the trash. Now, it's getting time I need that mechanism and the white insert. Now this white insert, I went ahead and stamped mine already to go on the inside. Now, when you're putting this together, you're going to have this fold behind the white insert, and then it'll adhere to the inside of this piece. So you want to make sure that you get this part up under that 1/2 inch scored piece. And then you're going to want to kind of line it up so it's halfway between the top and the bottom where the score lines are. And then you want it to be just to this edge over here, not sticking out, but just to that edge. And so once you've kind of gotten that lined up, this piece here, you're going to want to take a dimensional and put on the bottom right here. And then the other part you're going to push up inside from the bottom. You might want to stick your foam folder in here, because this is the piece that is going to attach to this white insert, and that's how it makes it move when you do that. So you're going to want to line this up so that it's in here before you actually put it down. Or how you're going to actually put it down is you're going to need to put, this is where the dimensional is, on the back top piece. You're going to want to put some glue, some adhesive. I'm using the Seal Plus because I want it to stick really well. And then with this holding it open, I want to come as far as I can to this 1 inch cut edge. And then I'm going to go up. I just need a little bit sticking down to go behind the rabbit, but I also don't want it in so far that that adhesive is going to stick the strip to the olive cardstock instead of the white sliding piece. Once you get it where you think you want it, and just kind of try to keep it level, then you can just remove this and stick that down. Now, when you move your white piece, that one will move over. And that's how you create that mechanism. Now, since this is already there and done and it's stuck, you can go ahead and take your backing off of the tear and tape and put that behind the white piece, and then you're going to want to fold this and stick that back down onto that. And that creates the little folded piece. If you want, you can go ahead and burnish the edge a little more. Then it's just a matter of putting your pieces on together. So there, I'm going to do the Happy Easter. And this. Move some of these out of my way. So this one's the one I put some Easter eggs on this one. So this is the one I'm going to use for my Happy Easter words. The other one, it's just for a friend. I'm gonna just use the word hi. All right. So this, you can actually use dimensionals to pop it up. This is the one that's going to move across. And what you're going to want to do is take the backing off of the dimensional and then just kind of line that up behind the body. It's kind of like in the shoulders area, because I don't want it to go too far that way, but I do want it to be able to come over. And then this piece will stop right here. So I kind of want it in that shoulder area so it doesn't overlap. So there, stick him there, and he's popped up. And then I'll go ahead and pop up this bunny. Let go. And another one right there. And I will put this one right about in here. And then if you want to, you can pop these up, or you can, I'm gonna glue one of them down and then I'm gonna pop the other one up. And you just don't want them to be where they're going to catch the bunny as it's coming across, as it's sliding across. You don't want it to catch on anything. I think I need to, you can kind of roll your bunny a little bit so that he sticks out a little. And then this one I'm going to use some mini dimensionals. And those on here. Oh, the minis are sometimes a little hard to hold. And take those backings off. This is one of those cards that when you give it to somebody, they kind of go, "How did you do that?" So, got the Happy Easter on there. Now, you can pull this out, and then I just took the ribbon and kind of folded it on itself, and then I added the little diagonal cut at the end. And then I just took, you can color the stuff inside too, and I will before I give it away, but you just take your stapler. I know that Stampin' Up! Doesn't have this one anymore. Oh, it got stuck. Hold on. I think somebody had used this and got the staples stuck. Hold on. Had it in my class, and there's a couple of them stuck in here. Where's the other one? There's the other one. Got stuck. Put that back in there. Try again. You can use any kind of small mini stapler or whatever stapler you have. Come on. Trying to get this where it doesn't get caught in the stapler. And I just put a couple of staples in to kind of hold it, and it gives them kind of an idea of what to do, and then they can pull that and it comes across. And I hope that you enjoyed that and that you'll give that a try. You can use this with pretty much any of the stamp sets, with, you know, any kind of characters or whatever. The pigs would be fun to do with this one, the elephants, any of the other types that you may have on hand. And it's a great way of mixing some of the products that you have already bought to create a really cute card. And then you just use the slimline envelope and be able to do that. I appreciate you sharing the time with me. I hope that you'll go over to the to my blog at dianesblueheartsandbutterflies.com and check out the dimensions for the card pieces and be able to get that. You can link back to the video from that blog to be able to see the instructions and so that you can have the tips. I would appreciate it if anybody would want to share this with other people that they know and like the videos so that it gives a chance for my channel to grow. And if you'd like to know when I'm uploading videos for other projects, please click that bell icon and the YouTube will let you know when I upload another video. I appreciate you sharing your time with me, and I hope that you enjoyed this card idea technique to be able to use and make really cute cards for your friends and family. Thank you.